Coming up this weekend, we're upping the ante at lightweight. We're putting win streaks up against one another. We have the tarantula Jalen Turner, who had to sell a portion of his tarantula collection before his last fight to make ends meet. Those were his words, not mine. He's taking on Jamie Mullarkey out of Australia, a training partner of one Alexander Volkanovski. Did they fight in the past, Matt?
They did.
They did. And Jamie Mullarkey did not win that fight, but definitely great experience to have in your corner. And when I look at this fight, this is one of the best fights on the card. These two guys can strike, they can wrestle, they can grapple, they can crack, they can have a great time in the cage. And when I look at it for Mullarkey in the UFC, it's been an odd mixed bag. Obviously, he comes in, he fights Brad Riddell. That was a fight of the night. That was amazing. He fights Fares Ziam, and it was, do you like the volume of Ziam on the feet? Do you like the takedowns of Mullarkey? And in the end, Ziam's able to get the win in that one. They talked about that a lot in Fares Ziam's fight with Terrence McKinney last weekend, is saying this is a win that ages so well. Why? Because Jamie Mullarkey in his last two fights, knocking out Khama Worthy, just going right hand, left hand, knocking him flat down on his face. And then his last time out against Devontae Smith, where, man, Jamie Mullarkey was on a planet of his own in that fight. He took some of the monster juice out of the basketball. Like, he really did look amazing. And when I look at it for Jamie Mullarkey, we talk about fighters that move a lot in the cage as either a net positive or a net negative. And when I look at Jamie Mullarkey, he moves a lot, but it's not a lot of wasted movement because he does plot forward, but he moves his damn head. He moves his head out of the way of a lot of the shots that are coming from his opponent. So I do like to see that out of Mullarkey. Again, very well-rounded game. Sets up everything with his 1 and his 2 in his boxing. Throws a really good right hook when he's at distance. Taking on Jalen Turner, who, this guy's only 26 years old. How crazy is that? He debuted coming off of a big-time win with Bellator against a man they know as Vicente Luque. Like, how crazy is that at welterweight? Okay. Since then, he's had a crazy, crazy run. Obviously, more wins than losses, 4-2 in the UFC. The other loss against Matt Frevola, where he was held down a little bit and wrestled. Fights Callan Potter, fellow Australian. Made him look silly. Really landed a nice combo to win that fight. Finishes Joshua Culibao, a win that I really like to see, albeit Culibao came in on short notice up a weight class. Beats Brock Weaver, beats Uroš Medic. And in that fight, Matt, it's one of those ones where I was a little down on Medic going into it. I was told I was crazy. But for Jalen Turner, we can't take anything away from him because his grappling continues to get better fight over fight.
It really has, and it really has become a big strength for him as he's progressed throughout his UFC career. But this fight, to me, really just comes down to how well does Jalen Turner deal with the pressure of Jamie Mullarkey. Because on the feet, I see these guys as being very even. Both have uncharacteristically good knockout power. I'd say, like, you don't look at Jamie Mullarkey or Jalen Turner and think, wow, these guys have bricks in their hands, but they do have really nice power on the feet. But for Mullarkey, his power is very much accentuated by his forward movement and by his combination ability. Because even go back and watch the Devontae Smith fight. He didn't knock out Devontae Smith with just a big shot. It was, okay, once I get on the inside of his range, I'm going to start to land hands on him. And once those start to accumulate, you can just tell by the body language of Devontae Smith in that fight, he did not want to be there before he got knocked out. Like, the body shots, the overall damage was really starting to pile up on him. And I do think that if Mullarkey is able to get the win this weekend against Jalen Turner, it's going to look very similar to that matchup. It's going to be him getting past the leg kicks, past the jab of Turner, working his way on the inside, and like you would mention, going to the body on someone who's 6'3" for this weight class is going to be a big benefit for Mullarkey because he's in a weird category to where he has really good volume when he throws in combination, but there are some stagnant points throughout his fight. Those stagnant points are when Jalen Turner's going to be able to have some of his own success because with Turner, I know we're going to talk more about Kevin Holland a little bit more later on in the card, but they both have weird power to where when they get you at the end of their punches, they do have pretty good pop on them, and I could see Turner catching Mullarkey on his way in over and over and over again. But boy, is Jamie Mullarkey tough. And like, that's the thing I always go back to. I know he lost to Brad Riddell. I know he lost to Fares Ziam. But I guess let's go to the Ziam fight first, and I'll talk about the Riddell one. If he loses this fight, it's going to look a lot like the Fares Ziam fight. He won't be able to get on the inside of the range of Turner. He won't be able to implement his body attacks. He'll just kind of be stagnant on the outside, and he won't be able to work in his wrestling as well against Turner, I guess, as he was against Ziam. So I do think this is a very difficult fight for Jamie Mullarkey, and although both guys do match up very evenly in a lot of their stats, I could see this being one of those weird one-way traffic fights to where either Mullarkey gets on the inside and beats the brakes off Jalen Turner, and we're looking at ourselves like, wow, is Jamie Mullarkey a world beater? Or Jalen Turner goes out there, hits him with a big shot, maybe catches him with a guillotine while he's rocked and submits him. I could see it being a fight like that. But on the other side, it could be a fight of the night too, and I think that's why we're both so excited.
Jalen Turner, 4-2 in the UFC, 26 years old. This will be his 5th pay-per-view appearance. All of his appearances, pay-per-view or not, have all been on the prelims, so kind of crazy to see that one. But this is a curtain jerker for the pay-per-view. They want you to watch this fight, get excited by that pay-per-view, and we'll be there for the Fight Night Picks companion for the pay-per-view. But when I look at this one, I mean, Jamie Mullarkey, so well-rounded. The basketball comp is Alex Caruso. The scariest thing was, you didn't see it on camera. I said, I have a basketball comp for this one yesterday. Matt goes, yeah, I got one too. It's Alex Caruso. I brought my notes out. It was Alex Caruso. It was scary, but that is it because, again, he's coming into his own. Now, for Caruso, it had to be with another team to really break through.
With the Lakers,
he was good with the Lakers, but he really is broken through with the Bulls. Shame he's hurt. But, again, good on defense, good at playmaking, kind of coming into his own as a shooter. We'll see how that one progresses.
He's a good slasher
when he comes back from the injury. But, again, when I look at this one, really good leg kick, really good jab. I was interested to find out what his corner meant when they had the advice between round 1 and round 2 of his last fight when they went, get him with the GSP, get him with the GSP. Fake the takedown, maybe go up top, I don't know. But for Mullarkey, it was the left hook to the body against Devontae Smith. That's why I was doing that. That really, left hook to the body, bring his hands down, dig it up top. He's able to do so many things well that way. So if we look at the odds for this fight, for Jalen Turner, open to -150 favorite. He's a -135 right now. For Jamie Mullarkey, open to +130, +110. So the odds are closing in at par. Matt, if we look at the fan vote, I'm going to assume before I even look at it that it's going to be favoring Jalen Turner. So I'm going to say over-under 60% Turner here.
I'll say under.
You're going to say under? Ooh, slightly under. 602 total votes, 57% Mullarkey, 70% by knockout. For the 43% that have Turner, it looks like one of those lifesaver popsicles. It's kind of split relatively evenly. 38% decision, 28% submission, roughly 29% by knockout. Matt, when I look at this fight, it really is close. It's lined close. Who do you have winning this one?
Would you agree with me when I say that this is a big step up in competition for Jalen Turner? I know he fought Vicente Luque and wasn't able to beat him at 170, but his list of opponents at 155 pounds haven't been all that impressive. Like, I would say Jamie Mullarkey, he has the knockout win over Devontae Smith, he has the knockout win over Kama Worthy. Like, he is at least a proven commodity in this division to where if Turner is able to beat him, I think it does a lot more for his career than any other win he's had up until this point. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Tapology, like, Jamie Mullarkey, 37th ranked lightweight in
well, okay, I don't care about that. But
49 is Turner, but yeah, I do agree with you.
Yeah, like Jalen Turner at this division hasn't really fought any even really proven guys, to be fair. It's been a lot of sort of debut level fighters, and I think this could be a very big opportunity for him. I kind of want to pick Jalen Turner because I can see him being the more steady guy throughout this fight, but Jamie Mullarkey has shown the ability to deal with someone who does have good long-range weapons to where he can get on the inside of their attacks and really make them pay for it. That just being in his last fight against Devontae Smith, or I guess that was 2 fights ago against Smith. So I do like Mullarkey in this matchup. Was it the last time against Smith?
Oh, my bad.
So against his last opponent, Devontae Smith, I think he can use a very similar game plan against Jalen Turner. Again, the dangers might be slightly different. Turner's more dangerous on the mat with his submission ability, whereas Devontae Smith, I would say, is the better counter wrestler. But I do like Mullarkey, mainly for his volume and his ability to eat a shot. Like, if Turner hits him with a big punch on the feet, I do think Mullarkey's going to be able to withstand that pressure and then respond with his own, and that's why I'm picking Mullarkey.
I like the volume out of Turner. I like the power out of Turner. I like his takedown defense. I like his defensive submissions. I like his offensive submissions that he started to get better at as his career's gone on. I've seen a big progression from the guy that used to be with Bellator to the guy that's coming in this weekend out of Jalen Turner. Not to say that I haven't out of Jamie Mullarkey. Jamie Mullarkey just took that pressure dial or that volume dial and turned it up on all of his skills. He really has gotten a lot better from the first guy that we saw against Brad Riddell, who was already quite good, to the guy that we've seen finishing his last 2 fights against Kama Worthy. Like, this is a guy that cuts angles that you might not notice when you watch Jamie Mullarkey fight. You might just take advantage of the fact that he's tough as shit. And he goes out there and he cracks. Like, he's got that pop at the end of his shots that we love to see. I like Turner at a southpaw. I like Turner in the fact that Mullarkey has good leg kicks, but Turner checks leg kicks as a tall, long guy. Tagir Ulanbekov is a great example, 125, that's on this card. He's long and lanky. He doesn't check leg kicks at all. And it's going to catch him at a certain point when you're taking on the upper echelon. Turner already has those abilities, and I like the jiu-jitsu out of Gracie, Carlson, Riverside. So for me, I have Turner in this fight.
What I really like about Jamie Mullarkey is that every time he either wins or loses to a fighter from Australia, they immediately become friends and start training together. And it happened with him and Volkanovski. Him and Brad Riddell have trained together since their fight. Like, Jamie Mullarkey must just be...
Anzac connection.
Exactly. Like, Mullarkey just must be a good dude, and he's like, hey, I don't really care what the result was. Let's try to make each other better. And I do think it does make him better as a result of it. And I do think we have seen those improvements throughout his tenure. That's why I have him in this fight. But I think this is going to be a phenomenal fight because... lightweight is such a good division that we have people who, let's be honest, Turner and Mullarkey are barely even top 25 lightweights, and we're this excited about this fight, so I think it'll be a great matchup, but I do have Mullarkey.
One of the toughest fights to call. Coming up this weekend, we're splitting the pick. I've got Jalen Turner, Matt going with Jamie Mullarkey, the Alex Caruso of MMA. Listen, big time fight coming up. Again, let us know down below in the comments section who you have in this fight, and we got a big time main card coming up. Let's keep it locked in with Fight Name Picks. We always say,
let's get into it.